She was tired, the kind of tired that seeps into your bones after a double shift on your feet. With aching legs, a rumbling stomach, and the echo of fluorescent lights still buzzing in her ears, she clocked out of her diner job just past midnight. The streets were quiet, the world asleep, except for her. Pulling her coat tighter around her, she stepped into the night. Her shoes slapped softly against the cracked pavement as she made her way through the dimly lit block toward the bus stop. She was used to this, walking alone after late shifts. She had memorized every shadow, every flickering streetlight, and every noise the city made in these still hours. But tonight felt different. There was a cold in the air that didn't come from the wind, but from instinct. Then it happened. A hand grabbed her arm. Her body froze, heart thundering as fear surged through her like lightning. She turned, ready to scream or run, whatever came first, but the man who stood behind her looked surprisingly calm, even composed. "Walk faster," he said, not with menace, but with urgency. His voice was deep, hurried, his eyes darting behind her like he was watching for someone. Before she could protest, before she could even ask why, a shadow emerged at the end of the block. A man in a hood was walking fast, too fast. The stranger gripping her arm nodded in that direction. "I think he's following you," he said. Now her instincts screamed louder than before. The hooded figure was closing the distance, and she realized the man beside her, though unknown, might be trying to protect her. Hesitantly, she obeyed. They walked faster, turned down a side street, then another. The stranger kept close but didn't touch her again. When they finally stopped, far from the original path, he let out a breath. "I'm sorry I scared you," he said. "I didn't mean to, but I've seen him before. He follows women around this area." She stared at him, confused, scared, but also safe. This man had pulled her from something potentially awful. And yet, he looked completely out of place. His shoes were too clean, his coat expensive. There was a quiet confidence in his posture, like someone who never feared walking home. "Who are you?" she finally asked. He smiled faintly. "Just someone who remembers what it's like to feel helpless." His name was Daniel. He didn't give a last name that night. He offered to walk her the rest of the way to the station, which he did, at a respectful distance. They talked a little. She learned that he walked this route sometimes on purpose, watching. It wasn't the first time he had helped someone. But it was the first time he stayed to talk afterward. A week passed. Then too, she didn't see him again. Life returned to normal. Work, home, sleep, repeat. But she never forgot his face. Until one afternoon, she walked into the same diner, now on the morning shift, and saw him again. This time, in daylight. Sitting at a booth. Alone. She approached, cautiously. "You again," she said, unsure if he even remembered her. He looked up. That same faint smile. "I was hoping you'd be working today." He asked how she was. She told him about her shifts, her dreams, her exhaustion. He listened, really listened, and after his meal, he handed her a card. Not just any card, a business card. But it wasn't just a name and number. It read, Daniel Grayson, CEO, Grayson International Holdings. Her fingers trembled, her mouth opened, then closed. "I don't understand," she whispered. Daniel leaned in. "I wasn't always this. I grew up with nothing. My mom worked jobs like yours. I saw her come home broken every night. No one helped her. I promised myself if I ever made it, I'd be the kind of man she needed back then. That night I saw you, I remembered her. I couldn't walk away." She couldn't speak. He continued, "I'm starting a program for women in tough jobs, tough neighborhoods. Safety, education, opportunities. I want you to be part of it." And just like that, her life changed. He wasn't offering charity, he was offering a path. He arranged for her to get evening classes paid in full. A secure ride home every night. A grant if she completed her certification. Over months, she found herself again, not just surviving, but growing. And through it all, Daniel never crossed a line. He was her mentor, her protector. Only much later, after she had completed her training and landed a job managing community outreach, did he ask her out for coffee. Just coffee. She said yes. They met weekly. No grand romance, at first. Just talks. Deep, soul-searching conversations about where they came from, and who they wanted to be. She told him things she never told anyone. About nights she cried in the back room of the diner. About dreams she buried because they felt impossible. He listened like every word mattered. And one day, she found herself laughing with him over tea, and realizing she hadn't laughed in months. He didn't just rescue her that night. He saw her. One evening, years later, at a community center they had co-founded together, a young girl approached her. The girl had bruises on her confidence, just like she once did. "Why do you do this?" the girl asked. "Why help people like me?" She smiled. "Because once, someone walked with me when I was too scared to walk alone." And somewhere behind her, Daniel watched quietly, knowing that night long ago hadn't just saved one woman, it started a chain reaction. He wasn't a hero because he was rich. He was a hero because he remembered what it meant to be powerless, and he used his power to lift others up. This story isn't just about being rescued. It's about being seen. It's about kindness without expectation, support without strings, and the life-changing power of someone who chooses empathy over indifference. In a world often too loud and too fast, Daniel slowed down for someone invisible. And she, in turn, became someone who now lights the path for others. What started as a walk home in fear became a journey into purpose, strength, and something that might just be called love. They still walk together now. Not just in the streets, but into boardrooms, community meetings, and classrooms, building a world where no one walks alone after midnight. Not anymore.